There sometimes comes a point in the fictional history of a superhero when they stop becoming a single, superpowered metahuman and something more. They become a legacy. Now, the DCU is no stranger to legacy characters, whether it's Damian Wayne taking on the cape and cowl to become Batman, or Rose Wilson becoming Ravage to become a noble version of her dad, Deathstroke. Make no mistake though, legacy characters aren't just limited to the DCU's A-list heroes and villains. One perfect example of that is none other than the topic of this video, Plastic Man. And if you want to find out more about the legacy of your favorite pop culture icons, please leave a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe so that you can get the hottest superhero videos from us here at KRTV Marvel. When you're a character who's pushing 90 in real-world years, you're bound to plant a few seeds. Well, boys and girls, Plastic Man is no exception to that rule. Plaz, aka Eel O'Brien, has had his fair share of romantic entanglements throughout his adventures within the DC universe. Still, he's quite, let's just say, tame compared to the other superheroes and supervillains you'll find in the DCU. Superman has gotten it on with Lois Lane, Lana Lang, and even Wonder Woman. Batman's even more of a playboy, having dated everyone from cat burglars to world-class assassins and even Batgirl. The same can be pretty much said about Plaz. Sure, he doesn't have the same popularity these days as Supes or Batsy, but this rubber boy's got game. Ironically though, for a superhero who has rubber-based powers, he doesn't tend to use them when he gets intimate with the ladies. Because regardless of any crises or flashpoint that occurs in the DCU, one core part of Plastic Man is, yup, he's got a kid. And his name's Luke O'Brien. The thing is, Luke's origin story, his conception notwithstanding, of course, is a tad different from other legacy characters in the DCU. Damian Wayne was created as an integral part in the Batman mythos. The same can be said for Lex Luthor and Kal-El's love child Connor Kent, aka Superboy. Luke, however, was originally created by legendary writer Mark Waid and mainstream superhero painter Alex Ross as part of an Elseworld story back in the 90s, the now classic Kingdom Come. That means Luke wasn't originally part of the DC canon. Hell, he wasn't even named Luke back then. They named him Ernie. But he's since become one of the more underrated legacy characters to have come out of their universe since. That's no less apparent than the DCU's recent efforts to bring these lesser-known characters into the spotlight so us fans can have someone new to root for. And my god, did DC do the right thing incorporating Luke O'Brien in the mainline DCU. Luke's story starts when a stretchy, shape-shifting superhero named Plastic Man and a regular, non-superpowered lady named Angel. Eventually, they had a son named Luke Ernie O'Brien. Now, Plastic Man might be a great superhero, but as a dad, well, that's kind of a different, not to mention a more complicated story. Sad as it is, Plaid wasn't there for Luke growing up, but not because of willful neglect. If nothing else, they've just been handed a crap hand in the game of life, because Plaz became trapped in his egg form after his first foray into the dark multiverse, leaving Angel and Luke all by themselves. So, let's just say that Eel wasn't there for Luke's first words, much less the first time he manifested the superpowers he inherited from his dad. Specifically speaking, Luke basically has all the powers of Plastic Man, and although the extent of his abilities haven't been properly explored yet, here's what we can easily confirm. 1. He's got the same malleability as the original Plastic Man. That means he can stretch and extend his body to superhuman lengths. 2nd, he's as much a shapeshifter as his dad, which means he can impersonate anyone he wants. Although Luke himself would admit that he hasn't mastered the ability yet, since he still can't perfectly alter his vocal cords to mimic voices. However, it's still unclear whether Luke has the same kind of invulnerability and immortality as the OG Plaz, considering that he's still half human. In any case, we have our fingers crossed DC will remedy this sooner than later. Eventually, Eel and Luke would rekindle the relationship, and what better way to patch things up with your old man than by stealing the Batmobile? Because that's exactly what these two did. Even better, Luke followed in his dad's footsteps when it came to his career, donning his own black and white spandex suit and taking up the name Offspring to become a superhero in his own right. One of the finest adventures this father-son superhero duo got themselves in was courtesy of Jeff Lemire and Joe Bennett during their run on the Terrific series. Plaz, Offspring, and the rest of the team rescue Mr. Terrific against their evil alternate versions, the Dreadfuls. If you've been aching to see a couple of rubbery superheroes do battle against an evil, vampire version of Plastic Man, then you're in for a treat. Eel and Luke throw down with this vampirized Plaz, quipping, stretching, shape-shifting along the way. But perhaps one of the most fleshed out iterations of Plastic Man and Offspring's relationship can be found within the pages of Injustice Year 4 Annual 1. In this story, Luke becomes a prisoner when he's caught protesting against Superman's tyrannical, fascist regime. So, it's up to Big Daddy Plaz to rescue the boy, literally walking up to Soup's throne surrounded by the rest of his other superpowered lackeys to demand the return of his kid. When that doesn't work, well, you should never forget Plaz used to be a master thief before he became a superhero. So, he snuck his way into Luke's prison and didn't just free him, he let all the other inmates out too. Now, if that's not a great dad, we don't know what is. The fact that DC Comics decided to add a legacy character to Plastic Man's mythos is one of the best moves they've done in a while. It shows fans like us that much like regular humans, our favorite pop culture characters can evolve and gain more depth. With Offspring, we see a side of Plastic Man that goes far beyond the usual jokester with the power of elasticity. We witness a more human side of the hero, and you can't help but fall in love with the character more. Got any legacy characters you want us to cover next? Sound off in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button either to get notified whenever we release a new video about your favorite pop culture icons. Only here at KRTV Marvel.